In this demonstration, I'll describe how to use the Caliper tool within the Design tab for modifying transfemoral sockets by the numbers. So the first thing we want to do is go to this top down arrow, left click it, and select Scarpa. Next, go to the second down arrow, or the lower one, left click that, and select the transverse channel. Left click that. If the model disappears, so click the transverse channel again, and now my model has reappeared. What we want to do is spin the model around by having the cursor in the field and spin it around so that we can clearly see the anterior part of the aspect of the model. You can tip it or zoom it out by right clicking and moving the model, pulling the mouse forward or toward yourself, and just moving the model backward into the field so we can see it better. Then move the cursor over to this button here called Add. Left click that, and then it will allow us to place little discs onto the model. And we're going to start by placing them along the adductor longus channel here. So I'm going to start by just placing about 3 of these discs along the adductor longus channel. And then I'll start to curve around the outside. And this is just going to allow me to define a pattern where I can just isolate where I'm going to tighten up the Scarpa triangle. I'm going to do the same on the back, but I'm going to do this in a smaller, tighter area. All right, so we're going to place these circles or discs just like this. And when I'm done, I'll go back over to the box or the button and left click that, and I'm done. If we don't take the time or do this step, what will happen is the entire model will tighten up. So we need to go ahead and add these circles just so that we tighten up this specific area. Now we have to refer back to our measurement sheet to find out what our goal is. So currently, if we look over into the upper left-hand corner or in this Design tab, we can see that the distance currently is 6 3/16, and our goal is 5 3/4. So if we move to the pointers, there's an out and an in arrow that turn green once we move the cursor to it. So we need to go in 1/4 of an inch on both sides of this. So we're going to move this in 1/4 of an inch. We're going to go to this side and do the same thing. We're just going to move it in 1/4 of an inch. We'll go back over here, and now we can see that we're at 5 3/4. So this is the first step in tightening up our AP, but it's a very important step. So we can see that it leaves a dimple on both sides of our model. Okay, so that is, again, the first step in tightening up our AP. And when we get to the last step over here in our wizard, that's when we'll go ahead and finish up tightening up our AP. So that's how you use the Caliper tool for tightening up the AP.